Good evening. This is Village Clerk Kornecki. I'm calling the meeting to order for the Village of Villa Park regular board meeting for January 22nd, 2018. And I will do the roll call right now. Trustee Aiello.
Here.
Trustee Cazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Tucker.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
Trustee Silella.
Here.
President Bulfus. In the absence of President Bulfus, I would like to ask the board to, for a motion to appoint Trustee Cazone to be President Pro Tem for the meeting, tonight's meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Case, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Aiello, and I will do the roll call. Trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Cazone.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
I vote present.
Trustee Aiello.
Yes.
And that, trustee, if you would take the spot, please.
Thank you. If we can all stand, please, to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could just stay standing for just a moment. Heavenly Father, please allow us to run this meeting in cordial terms, to do the things that are best for the Village of Villa Park. Amen. Okay, next item is public comments on agenda items. Does anyone have any comments on agenda items?
I have no one signed up for that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Anyone on the board? Seeing none, we'll go to the consent agenda. The minutes from the board meeting of January 8th, 2018. And B, the bill listings for the weeks of January 2, January 8, and January 15, 2018, for a total amount of $1,070,283.42. Do I have a motion?
President Pro Temp, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? President Siller? Any comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Trustee Cazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
That's it.
Next item, the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, clarifying and amending the number of liquor licenses. Village Manager?
Thank you, Your Honor. In 2017, a Scrivener's error was discovered where the 2018 renewals, one liquor license holder did not renew their license. In order to correct the Scrivener's error and to remove the now unused liquor license, this ordinance will clarify and correct the quantities of all 2018 liquor license classes and issue one new license. The changes include the removal of one license holder that did not renew Victoria's Mexican Restaurant, a new Class I license for Monte Casino, and also adds one Class EE liquor license for Picante Wings. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for that?
I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Wagner, and we have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Silella. Any comments? Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call vote?
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Cazone.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Next item on our agenda is a resolution concerning a hearing required to be held pursuant to the Bond Issue Notification Act of the State of Illinois prior to the sale of general obligation bonds, sales tax alternate revenue source, Series 2018A of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village continues the process to issue alternate revenue bonds, also known as ARBs, for stormwater project. So public hearing on the ARBs is scheduled. It was already held at 6:45 this evening. And this resolution verifies details of said hearing. In the coming weeks, staff will continue to work with the library and our bond team to issue these ARBs for stormwater projects and the second tranche of general obligation GO bonds for the referendum-approved library project. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have a motion for this resolution.
I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Wagner, do we have a second? Trustee Tucker. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Silella?
Yes. The next item is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing final change order number 1 to the contract between the Village of Villa Park and A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. for the 2017 Central Boulevard Improvement Project for a deduction in the amount of $119,900.95. Village Manager.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. for Schaumburg, Illinois for the 2017 Central Boulevard Improvement Project. Proposed final change order number 1 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net amount of proposed final change order number 1 is a deduction of $119,900.95 for an adjusted final contract amount of $764,843.80. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have a motion on this? Trustee Case.
Make that motion.
Second, Trustee Slella. Any questions or comments? That's one comment. It's always nice to have these deductions on these contracts. I like to see that. Okay, we have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Silella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Good. Okay, our next item is public comments on non-agenda items. You see, we have a lot of people here, and I pretty much know what everyone's going to talk about.
I have people signed up.
Okay, how many?
I have people signed up.
Okay, good, thank you. As we did at the last meeting, we just requested your comments be held to 3 minutes. And if you're going to say the same thing that someone else has said, just come up and be quick, and so we can get everybody in. Okay, I don't know if that's an omen or not, but. But
Find
no.
out when you go to bed tonight.
But no one's waiting. But, so we can have our first comment, please.
Okay, the first person is Katie Mueller.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Katie Miller, and I'm a member of the Safe Lufkin Pool Group. At the January 8th, 2018 board meeting, Trustee Aiello, in response to the residents in attendance, stated, and I quote, "What I did not hear back from you is a solution." He went on to say that we had not looked at the budget and determined where we could find $500,000 to fix Lufkin Pool. The Safe Lufkin Group has reviewed the budget and researched other information about pool operations. With that said, we are here tonight with some recommendations for the board. This evening, we will have multiple speakers that will discuss various aspects of our plan and why we believe this solution is to the advantage of the Village of Villa Park and its residents. Before we begin the plan, we have summarized some points why we believe Lufkin should be repaired and remain open to the residents. Lufkin has more visitors than Jefferson. A 10-year average indicates of pool attendance, or 10-year average of pool attendance indicates that there are 16,385 visitors per year to Lufkin compared to Jefferson's 12,830 visitors. Lufkin is a well-used, popular amenity in Villa Park. Jefferson's layout does not work for everyone. Jefferson can be challenging for families with multiple children, especially with young children, due to the separation of the toddler pool from the main pool. At Lufkin, you can see the whole pool, and there are better sight lines for families with multiple children. Jefferson has many closures due to swim meets and evening swim lessons. Lufkin does not have these same issues. Jefferson Pool is not centrally located in Villa Park. Children from South Villa Park will have to walk or ride their bikes a far distance to get to Jefferson. They will have to potentially cross St. Charles Road and train tracks, which creates potentially hazardous situations. Additionally, you would be taking away from the children a safe haven for kids who spend a good portion of their summer at the pool with their friends. The Moving Forward brochure indicated and I'm quoting, "What people notice and what dramatically enhances property values is the quality of community parks. The lack of parks, with the removal of amenities such as Lufkin Pool, will have the opposite effect on property values. Not only will there be a negative effect on property values, but a negative effect on the community if Lufkin closes. Residents will go to other communities to swim, they'll spend their money in other towns, and as a result, Villa Park businesses will suffer. With the closure of Lufkin, there will be significantly fewer lifeguards employed. This will eliminate the opportunity for summer employment for the high school and college students in Villa Park. Having only one remaining pool in Villa Park for up to 10 years until a new community pool and or recreation center is built is not the way to move forward in Villa Park. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to pass comments on to our next speaker.
Yep, thank you.
Dan? Dan Kennelly?
Yes. Hello, my name is Dan, and this is my son Anthony, and my daughter Allison. And Allison, do you want to make a comment? Go ahead. You want me to hold you? Okay. Go ahead, make a comment. Why do you want to save Lufkin Pool?
Because I think it's a good place.
And you have a lot of fun there?
Yes.
And how old are you?
6.
Okay. Thank you. I'm a member of the Save Lufkin group also, and at the January 2018 board meeting, Trustee Alejo said that the pamphlet you got, the moving forward for sure, that should have gone to you before we voted. The Save Lufkin group definitely agrees. Most residents were not aware that you were voting on closing Lufkin at the November 6, 2017 board meeting. And even if residents were aware that Lufkin may be closed at some point, the agenda only stated that you were voting on replacing a liner and funding engineering services. Not agenda items you would realize were actually a vote on whether to close Lufkin or not unless you were very familiar with the situation. This issue of closing the pool has been discussed for 20 plus years, but has never been acted upon before. When you consider your vote on November 13th, a week later, most residents were still not aware that you voted to close Lufkin. It wasn't even in the newspaper until after your second vote. Now that more residents are aware you voted to close Lufkin, you can see what the response is by all the people in this room. Many residents are upset by this decision. They feel that the vote has done in the manner it was and in the time of year it was, so as not to make residents aware of this vote. So on behalf of the residents of Villa Park, the Save Lufkin group would like to request the board do the following. Vote not to demolish Lufkin Pool and vote to fund the $450,000 on needed repair to Lufkin so it can be reopened in 2018. We understand it may not open at its normal operating schedule this year, but funding the needed repairs and keeping 2 pools in Villa Park in good condition will eliminate the issue caused with only having 1 pool in Villa Park, as discussed by the previous speaker. Other speakers are going to discuss options for funding these repairs, reducing operating outlay, and ways in which the community would be impacted by your decision to close Lufkin. We think once you review all the information presented to you tonight, that you will see that it makes sense to vote to repair Lufkin so we can all move forward together to keep Villa Park the strong community it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Amy Jenkins?
Thank you. I'm Amy Jenkins. I'm also part of the Save Lufkin group. While I don't currently work outside the home, in my previous life I used to work for Boise Cascade, then Office Max, as an internal auditor, and then in the project management office, tracking implementation of corporate capital projects. So I'm here to talk about finances. At the January 8th, 2018 meeting, residents were told that they should have come prepared to that meeting, having reviewed the 477-page budget and come with solutions. So we did that. And after reviewing the operating budget for fiscal year 18, as well as the comprehensive annual financial report for fiscal year 17, we would like to share our observations. We are proposing that you fund the full repair amount of $450,000 for Lufkin Pool. That includes the new liner, the fee for Williams Architect, and approximately $335,000 for the additional repair work. It is our understanding that this would extend its life for another 8 to 10 years. It is very clear the village has worked very hard in the recent past to change its financial position. We were surprised to learn that even as recently as 5 years ago, we were not meeting the recommendation of maintaining 90 days cash on hand. The village's efforts to cut operating costs and take measures that allowed them to meet that goal starting in just fiscal year 13 is absolutely commendable, and we thank you for your fiscal responsibility. It is also our understanding that the village now operates under an even more conservative standard of 120 days cash on hand. For the public, this means that the village wants to retain $7.5 million in reserves at all times in case an emergent situation arises and we lose our operating income. We are currently budgeted to end fiscal year 18 with $9.1 million in the general corporate fund, leaving us $1.6 million over the most conservative goal, which equates to 146 days cash reserve. Spending the $450,000 on Lufkin repairs would reduce this amount to $8.6 million, which is equivalent to 139 days cash on hand. It is a reduction of 7 days worth of operating income, or operating expenses. This still leaves the village well above their goal of 120 days. We would also like to point out that when the village applied for the park grant for Lufkin and the OSLAC grant for Jefferson in 2014, the village was prepared to contribute $535,000 of their own money towards the $1.5 million total of grant submissions, but the grants were declined. The Lufkin repairs were even added to the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 16 and fiscal year 17, but when the grants got declined, the village did not invest their portion of the money in the pools and removed Lufkin from the capital improvement plan. The amount the village was willing to invest in 2014 exceeds the current amount being sought. We also want to note that we see the need to allocate the money to maintain Jefferson as well, as we work out what will be done in the future. Another possible funding source, though not quite as clear, would be to take the money from the $1.9 million seemingly being carried year over year in the enterprise fund, but we have no way to know if this money is being earmarked for something specific. We realize our current economy is somewhat uncertain times, with Governor Rauner talking about property tax freezes, and taking a general brief look out 5 years out. If we froze property taxes and the pension contributions continue to grow aggressively as they have in the recent years, even with funding Lufkin repairs, the amount of excess cash remaining and continuing to build in reserves would be enough to cover the overage while maintaining our current service levels. Bottom line is we have the money to repair Lufkin. This would allow, and Jefferson too, really, this would allow residents to maintain the same level of amenities while we take the preliminary steps towards a new facility. The two issues are not mutually exclusive. Both pools service our community in different and equally important ways. Thank you.
Anne Marie Testa.
Hi, my name is Anne Marie Testa, and I'm a member of the Save Lufkin Pool Group. I'm here tonight to discuss our findings when we did a financial analysis of pool income and expenses. At the November 6, 2017 board meeting, it was mentioned that Lufkin Pool costs the village $150,000 to operate every year. In reviewing the financials, we found that the quoted $150,000 may be generally correct for the expenses related to Lufkin for the latest financial year, but it discounts any income earned and does include capital expenditures, which we had a few of in the same time period. We found that based on 10 years, accounting for both pools, there was an average of $248,000 in expenses and $123,000 in income, for a net cost to the village of $130,000 per year, or approximately $65,000 per pool per year. When depreciation is taken out of those figures, it brings the net cost down to $46,409 that the village has paid per year on average to operate Lufkin. In order to optimize the income received by the pools, our team has formulated some ideas to provide increased revenue for the pools in order to help cover that $46,000 that the village funds. We have compiled information about what rates are at local pools and found that Villa Park rates are on the low end for pool passes, while similar to other towns for daily admission. We did some projections that would allow Villa Park to increase its pool revenue while still remaining competitive with what surrounding towns offer. One would be to increase pool pass rates. Villa Park has sold 1,238 passes per year as a 3-year average. On the low end, increasing pass rates by $5 for early bird resident passes would bring in an additional $5,000 per year. Increasing all pass and punch cards by $10 would net an additional $12,338. We could increase daily admission rates. Increasing those by just $1 would increase income by at least $4,400, and a $2 increase would double that to $8,800. We can increase pool rental rates. Lufkin was booked nearly every available weekend night for parties, which means demand is greater than supply. Increasing rates by $10 would net $550. This will be a big issue for the village if there's only one pool. We can increase our swim program fees by just $5 for swim classes. That would increase income by $1,800. These figures are based on having 2 Villa Park pools. We don't know the impact on pass and admission income if only one Villa Park pool is open. We have conducted an informal online poll, and 148 families have indicated they would not purchase a pool pass this year if Lufkin closes, which equates to approximately 395 residents and over $21,000 in lost pool pass income. There will be a financial impact on pool income if Lufkin closes. In all, we have identified $12,350 in additional income that could be generated if minimal price increases were implemented, and up to $27,000 on the higher end. A subsequent speaker will discuss other options for generating additional income through sponsorships and other sources. Thank you.
Okay, Chris and/or Ian McLeod.
Hi, my name is Ian McLeod. I'm also a member of the Save Lufkin Group. As you know, this group was formed quickly, but is comprised of residents with lots of different skill sets, while with the same goal, that is to save Lufkin Pool from being demolished and to find a way to work with the village to get it reopened. We realize that if we can accomplish our goal, the group will no longer be necessary, so we are proposing that the group morph into something more long-term, a Friends of Villa Park Pool Group. We have a nucleus of members who would be willing to create this organization, who have expertise in nonprofit administration, fundraising, advocacy, and leadership, and would consider organizing and creating 501c3. We also expect other residents who are currently not part of the Save Lufkin Group would join us in this new organization. To give you an idea of the support this group has, we currently have almost 400 people following our Facebook page, which has only been up since December 11th. However, the Friends organization would not be formed if Lufkin Pool is demolished. If you vote to demolish Lufkin and not to fund the needed repairs, you will lose out on a wonderful opportunity to move Villa Park forward with its plans for the future. If you reconsider your vote and vote yes to make necessary repairs, the Friends organization could serve as a point of contact with board and village employees for park issues. The Friends organization could assist with informing residents and advocating for a new facility. The Friends organization could advocate for Villa Park needs. And the village should decide to pursue creating a separate park district. This organization could assist with community awareness of this issue. In addition, the Friends of Villa Park Pools, which would act primarily as a fundraising organization, could offset operating costs for the pool. We believe pool sponsorships could be a large source of revenue and could be coordinated through its organization. Members with knowledge of sponsorships and existing sponsorship contacts are in the Save Lufkin Group and are willing to set up a sponsorship plan that could be used for years to come and garner thousands to support the pools. We know the village has applied for grants to fund pool repairs, but we have done research on existing grant opportunities and would explore additional grant possibilities. The Friends organization could run fundraisers for the pools in conjunction with village staff promoting existing pool events. We would even explore other possibilities such as a GoFundMe page, which some residents have already indicated that they are interested in contributing to. In short, you get a committed group, talented group of residents who are willing to work with you to move the village forward with its future pool plans, but only if you vote to fund the needed Lufkin repairs. Thank you.
Karen Javier?
Hi, my name is Karen Javier, and I'm a member of the Save Lufkin Group. At the January 8th board meeting, this board, and specifically Trustee Tucker, told residents that the opportunity to give input on pool planning had passed, and that any input given had been incorporated into the master plan. In addition, they advised that the decision to close Lufkin was made in accordance with the master plan. We are aware of several community surveys and meetings that were conducted in past years to aid in the development of the master plan. For example, in 2013, a citizen survey was mailed to homes and received 604 responses. That's a 6.2 response rate. Question 23 was the only question related to the pool, where 53% said they would not support the construction of a new pool and the closing of Jefferson and/or Lufkin. 24% said they would, and 23% said they didn't know. So more than half of all residents did not support closing one or more of the pools, a clear majority. In February 2015, public input meetings were held, one of which was about the pools. From the meeting notes, opinions were varied, with many different ideas discussed. It does not appear that any consensus was reached at this meeting. In the spring of 2015, another community survey was taken via SurveyMonkey, and hard copies were sent to residents with 694 responses, indicating an 11% return. Question 9 asked which initiatives were most interested in supporting. Villagers were most interested in supporting. 284 people were in favor of developing a new full-service fitness center, closely followed by 256 in favor of renovating one or more pools. 217 were in favor of developing a new aquatic center. However, nowhere did the survey indicate that these options were in lieu of current amenities. The published survey results even went on to say that there may have been some misinterpretation of this question, yet no further clarification was sought. Question 11 asked, when considering facility needs over the next 5 years, what will be of interest to members of your household? 264 were interested in a new fitness center, 249 in a new pool or aquatic facility, 227 were interested in upgrading and repairing the current aquatic facilities. However, the wording indicates interest in the immediate future. It did not indicate that residents would wait 10 plus years from the time of the survey. This question is also worded to indicate interest and did not ask residents to prioritize. All of the times that resident input was sought via survey, residents have indicated the desire to keep the existing pools open and renovate them. We want to make sure it's known that the goal of this group, Save Lufkin Group, is not to slow the progress of the master plan. We agree that this is a great proactive tool to be referenced when steering the ship. However, with no associated timeline and no dedicated funds, we do not feel it's reasonable to treat it as an end-all document with regard to the Lufkin Pool. It states in the introduction of the plan that it is purposely planned to be a dynamic and flexible planning tool for the management of the village's recreational assets. If the only opportunity for residents to give input on the master plan was before the plan was adopted, it should have been clearly stated that Lufkin Pool was to be closed, demolished, and returned to green space a decade or more prior to the development of a new pool. For these reasons, we feel that making the needed repairs to Lufkin to retain a well-used amenity is a reasonable request.
Thank you.
Tom King. I got Tom next on. Yeah, you have to wait till you're called, please.
Sorry, slight change.
Well, who are you?
My name is Jill Twin. I'm Jill Twin, and I'm also a member of Save Lufkin Group. Residents received a flyer from the village about a proposed new community pool and recreation center. We do not see that happening in the near future, as there are no concrete plans for what the building would contain, a budget to fund it, and no defined timeline. The village is at maximum borrowing capacity at the moment, and a referendum does not appear likely in the immediate future. Please consider if a new community pool and recreation center is more than 10 years away, a complete generation of Villa Park children, 5 to 15 years of age, will be ignored. Closing Lufkin Pool and not replacing it with something for at least 10 years is not considering the current generation of kids. We believe the decision to close Lufkin will have an impact on the village's ability to build a new community pool and recreation center. Conversely, if Lufkin remains open, residents would be more willing to fund a future facility, as they would see that the village is listening to its residents about what they want. The Save Lufkin Group also has been discussing the necessity of a recreation center and a large aquatic center, and recommends a feasibility study if a new facility is the plan. Several local private fitness clubs already exist. In Villa Park, we have Anytime Fitness and Planet Fitness. Lombard has Glass Fitness and Glass Courts. Elmhurst has X-Sport and Orange Theory, Courts Plus, YMCA. Furthermore, our surrounding towns already have large new water facilities, including Addison, Lombard, and Oak Brook. We believe the community should be surveyed by an outside firm before it proceeds to ensure that we are proceeding with plans that represent the opinions of the highest percentage of Villa Park residents. Lastly, Save Lufkin has discussed the operations of a new facility. Our team conducted an analysis of profitability of pools in the local DuPage and suburban Cook communities. Of the municipal pools that publish their finances, we found that most park district or municipal pools lose money, with the exception of Lombard and Oak Brook. Every pool that we could find financials on have largely negative net income. A new facility in Villa Park will be more expensive to operate and may require more village assets to operate annually than our current existing facilities. In closing, if Villa Park hasn't always been able to maintain the facilities that we have with current staff, will the village be able to maintain a larger facility?
Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Tom King, and I'm also a member of the Save Lufkin Group. The economic impact of closing Lufkin will hinder the village's ability to open a new center. If Lufkin closes, area businesses will be impacted, residents will have to go elsewhere to swim. The online poll our team conducted showed that out of 167 families, greater than 90% will not purchase a pool pass if Lufkin closes. These people will not be as willing to fund a community or rec center if they have gotten used to another venue to swim. They will also take their money outside of Villa Park to spend, and our local economy will suffer. Additionally, the village will suffer due to lost sales tax revenue. The economic impact of having a recreational pool goes beyond the income received directly by the pool from pool passes or admission fees. The pool facility brings people to the area, both village residents and non-residents. As a result, local businesses and the economy benefit from the facility by having people near the pool because they purchase goods and services while they're here. Most municipalities see the larger economic impact of having a municipal pool and the positive impact it has in the local community. These positive economic impacts range from increased residential property values. Community pools nearby a person's home increases their property value. Increased commerce and sales tax revenue from the local businesses within our community. Increased increased employment for people who work at the pool. Additionally, there's positive social impacts ranging from keeping kids off the streets, reducing crime rates, providing a community gathering place, and promoting positive physical health. In other words, most municipalities see a community pool as an investment rather than a revenue generator to improve economic and social life within a community. It is in our best interest to keep Lufkin Pool open, as it is an important investment in our community. Our community is ready and able to help increase the net income of the Villa Park pools, as they are an important investment in Villa Park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Amanda Murphy.
Hi, I'm Amanda Murphy, and I'm also a part of the Save the Lufkin group. Villa Park was just named the 8th best place to raise a family in the United States by Money Magazine, which also listed as the 28th best place to live in America. These rankings are quite an honor and are based on several factors, one of them being the amenities available to residents. Save Lufkin does not understand why Villa Park would be taking away amenities from the village and risk losing these types of awards and the concurrent increase in property values and prestige they provide. You've heard from several speakers outlining various ideas our group has on how you could fund repairs, offset operating costs, and garner public support for future plans. We believe the village has sufficient cash reserves to pay for these repairs and to reopen Lufkin. The Save the Lufkin group asked the board to vote no on demolishing Lufkin and to vote yes to fund the needed repairs. If you choose not to listen to our recommendations, do not fund these repairs and demolish Lufkin Pool, yeah, the village will save a little money, about 7 days of its $9.1 million cash reserve. Residents will go to other towns to swim and spend their money in those towns. It's going to be more difficult to get resident support for a community pool or recreation center if residents don't believe that the village is listening to their input and making decisions that don't benefit Villa Park and its residents. By only having one pool available for up to 10+ years, you are not thinking about our current generation of children. And then you're asking us to fund a new center for a future generation of children. It's not fair to the kids who are 5 to 15 years of age right now, many of whom were here last meeting and are some are in this room tonight. Now, if you revote yes to fund the repairs to Lufkin, it will have a positive impact on Villa Park. You will use up to only 7 days of your cash reserve and still maintain 139 days, well over the Villa Park standard of 120-day limit. You will actually give residents what they want. Lufkin is the more popular pool, and on all your surveys, residents have indicated a desire to see existing pools renovated. It provides a vital health and wellness amenity to ensure all residents have a pool that is easily accessible to them. Lufkin's layout works better for many residents and is available more hours than Jefferson. Funding repairs will also get you a community group of residents willing to work with the village and the Parks and Rec Department to fundraise for, advocate for, and act as a communication point for the Villa Park pools and the future parks needs. And we've done a lot in 2 weeks. So, I mean, you're already seeing just a small, fraction of what we can do when we join forces. You'll also engender good with the Villa Park residents who otherwise will see this decision as one that was made without seeking resident input and done at a time and in a way that was designed to keep the vote hidden from residents. In short, voting yes to fund the required Lufkin repairs so it's sustainable for 8 to 10 years is a way for the Villa Park community to move forward together with the village board and to keep Villa Park strong. Thank you.
Terry Wolf.
Good evening. I, Terry Wolf, I am also a member of Save Lufkin Pool. However, my comments are prepared by myself and they are my own. I do support 2 neighborhood pools in this town. also understand that the current Lufkin pool may not be worth repairing. I maintained it for years when I worked as part of the Parks Department in this village for years. I was here when we put in the liner, and I am very familiar with the conditions of that pool. However, I do not understand how the village can cease to have a pool at Lufkin Park. Since this conversation started, I have FOIA'd the deed and title for this property, and it states that said land shall and will be used for the following purpose only, to wit, swimming pool and bathhouse, and it goes on to state several other park amenities. I'm not an attorney, but shall and will seem to be very strong words, and it has successor language as well. I ask that you please hold off on the demolition of Lufkin Pool until it can be replaced with another neighborhood pool. This will save us on some construction costs. It is your responsibility to serve the community and support our desires and wishes, logical or not. You, staff, and/or an advisory commission may think it makes more sense to have one large, centrally located pool complex, but if this is not the will of your constituents, it should not be supported. How many people have come to the meeting to support the closure of Lufkin Pool? You have consistently demonstrated through your words, action, and inaction that you and past boards as well as staff are incapable of balancing all the needs of Villa Park. Police, fire, utilities, and roads are all very important, but so are our pools and parks. You shouldn't have to make that decision on what's more important. Because of that, I am actively working on the creation of a park district for Villa Park. This will ease some of your burden, and I hope that we can become partners in the future. The issue of our failing pools is an epic failure of Manager Keener to keep the board and the community aware of our needs. At a recent meeting, 8 trustees shamed the public for not having been more involved. If Manager Keener knew that our police station was in critically poor condition and more than double its life expectancy and falling apart, I wonder, would that be his failure, or would that be the residents' fault again for not showing up at meetings with it like an angry mob? Clearly, Manager Keener has failed at his job to keep this board informed, and I hope you will hold him accountable for this. Thank you.
Mr. President, I believe one person signed up there, and I
Okay.
don't know who that was, walked up to the podium. Yes.
Okay.
There was, I think, 3 people that signed up on there.
Okay, if you would just go up there and state your name.
There was someone that was before me, Kathy.
Okay.
Kathy Gilroy. Good evening. As noted in the elevator, congratulations to all of us and by a prior speaker on Villa Park's honor of being named by Money Magazine as the 8th best place in America to raise a family now and as the 28th best place to live in America. That's awesome. Of course, I would prefer that Villa Park did not allow an off-track betting parlor and slot machines all over town. Fortunately, access to gambling must not have been one of the factors that Money Magazine looked at. However, that's not why I'm speaking tonight. In the excitement over reading about Villa Park's success, you may have missed the article in the Daily Herald right alongside our story. It's the Villa Park story and the one I'm referencing. It was about the many Tobacco 21 ordinances rapidly being passed. 6 Cook County communities, including Chicago, have raised the minimum age to purchase tobacco to 21. 6 Lake County communities have also increased the age for the purchase of cigarettes. The only DuPage County community with a 21 or over tobacco ordinance is Naperville. So access to tobacco must not have been one of the factors that Money Magazine looked at either. Hopefully, our 8th place ranking will encourage new families to consider Villa Park as their home. The minimum age to gamble and drink is 21 already. Too bad Villa Park couldn't have been the first community in DuPage County to raise the age to purchase cigarettes to 21, but we could still be number 2. I lost a beloved aunt to lung cancer. She smoked her whole life. My friend gave me a cigarette at 14. Fortunately, her brother punched me in the stomach. I inhaled the whole cigarette, coughed for an hour, and never tried another one. The Cook County Department of Public Health claims that people who haven't used tobacco by age 21 are unlikely to start. The DuPage County Board of Health supports a minimum age of 21 and offers support and guidance to local municipalities. Research shows an age 21 policy could reduce premature deaths and preterm births. According to the Daily Herald story, the policy is also backed by the Respiratory Health Association, the American Lung Association, the American Heart Association, and local police departments. What more proof that it's the right thing to do you need? Let's do it. It's about time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jim Karen, and I'm also here to talk about Lufkin, but I seem to have missed out on the group project and done my own work. So I have been living here for a very long time. My family moved in when I was 2 years old, and I lived with my father for a long time there. And I used to be able to go right out my backyard to Lufkin Pond and spend a lot of time there. So when I looked for purchasing a home, family was definitely one of my concerns. I looked far and wide, but coming down to Ardmore, that was all I needed to see. A nice school, great parks, and a pond that I had a lot of memories with. My young son now has an absolute love of water. And we spent a lot of time last year at Lufkin, and I hope to have a lot more time there. I don't want to look at the possibility of maybe a new center off in the distance. I want to be able to restore the Lufkin Pond that I've lived with, grew up with, and loved. My son already loved it. Please reconsider and keep what is a great addition to this beautiful town, and maybe we'll move up to 7th place.
That's the last one.
Hello, my name is Bill Conroy. I live at 1011 South Rand. The subject of closing Lufkin Pool is not new. It comes up almost yearly. Whenever the subject comes up, the residents come to the village meetings and express their extreme displeasure to the idea. So obviously the residents support the pools. And why is the subject of closing Lufkin come up again and again? Why hasn't the Park District kept up with repairs and submitted requests for the budgeting needed for upkeep? We had a referendum to expand the library. Why didn't we have a referendum for the pools? Why weren't the residents given the choice between the library expansion and pool upkeep? Why are the pools run so inefficiently? And why have you worked so hard to justify closing Lufkin instead of working to support the residents and look for solutions to keep the pools in good repair and open? It is disgraceful how the Park District has let the buildings and equipment disintegrate. Are the citizens realistically expected to be monitoring how the Park District and Board are maintaining the buildings and equipment? That is the responsibility of the Board. The residents step up and voice their support for the pools. It is the Park District's responsibility to maintain the facilities and be ahead of the need to replace facilities. Our Park District has known that the pools are aging and have not been properly maintained. Why are there no plans to replace or repair? Why are there no funds provisioned for this purpose? What is the Park District and Board's plan all these years? Was it the Park District's plan and Board's plan all these years just to let the pools deteriorate until there was no option except to close? Do we really know that the best use of this asset is to demolish it? Has there been a financial analysis to evaluate closing versus repairs? If a proper analysis was done, we would know all the costs of repair and all the costs of demo and rehab or replacement. The Board made the decision to pass on spending $25,000 to fully evaluate the condition of the equipment at Lufkin.
We are guessing. We guessed that the concrete under the liner was crumbling. When the liner was removed, we found that the mortar around the rim was crumbling, which would be corrected with the new rim when a new liner was installed. We made the decision to close Lufkin without a solid plan as to what to do with the property or the cost to convert the park into something else. The Park District has been threatening to close Lufkin for years. How irresponsible not to have a plan or a budget for that eventuality. Now the board is telling the citizens that there isn't enough funding. When the Park District, where was the Park District planning and budgeting for the last 10 years? Why weren't the residents' interests protected? The residents want these two pools or a current solution. Not maybe in 10 years, we'll have something. These people own property in Villa Park now. They're raising their families in Villa Park now. This is not the time for wishy-washy answers or maybe someday responses. The residents deserve a solution. Would the board accept this level of planning and budgeting from Public Works? Would it be acceptable for Public Works to forget the budget for emergency tree removal or main water pump replacement? Would it be okay not to buy salt this year because they neglected the budget for it? No, the board demands and the residents expect responsible planning and budgeting. Why has the board allowed the Park District to disappoint the residents and run our pool facilities into the ground with no backup plan? Thank you.
Are there any more, anyone else needs to make comments? Okay, we have one more.
My name is Jennifer Burns. I am a member of the Park and Rec Commission. I am the head coach for the Villa Park Mariners. I've worked at the pools as a lifeguard since '87. That was my first job. Live here for forever, it seems. My extended family is here. I'm also a teacher at Willowbrook High School as well. So I'm very invested in this community. I remember watching board meetings in the late 90s where it was more of the Jerry Springer show up here than a dignified group of individuals representing its residents. And we used to have some beers and laugh about it and giggle and stuff till we realized, oh my goodness, this was our government. And it wasn't funny anymore. I came here to speak at a board meeting to ask the board to please help fund a sidewalk along Roosevelt Road, because that was not something they were interested in doing, splitting the cost. We actually had a trustee who's no longer with us, or part of this board, states that the people who would be using that sidewalk are probably from countries that don't have them, so they won't be missing anything. And that individual was actually re-elected in this community, which appalled me. I want to thank this board for your diligence, for your hard work. There have been some really nasty and negative comments that have been made about you on social media, and I know that you can't always respond. There are many of us out there who truly feel that you are doing the best job that you can with the information that you've been provided, the people you've interviewed and spoken with, and so thank you. I don't envy you at all, okay? The money that is in reserves, I believe we can make interest on those funds. And so I'm just curious if we do borrow against that, as far as, the accumulating interest that could be generated. Again, I don't want to get back into that position where we were so cash strapped that we couldn't make decisions for our community, like when Villa Park Fuel happened to be on the market, or some other opportunities. So I truly appreciate your due diligence and fiscal responsibility to help really strengthen us, because the state of Illinois is not in a good place. In 2012, there was a group that formed, because again, Lufkin's been on the chopping block for quite a while. And they said they were going to organize, and they said they were going to fundraise, and they were going to hold events, and they did. But Lufkin opened. And where's all of this planning and things that, that happened? I know that the gentleman here today said, well, they're only going to do it if we say we're going to open Lufkin. Well, I've already been here, and I was hoping they would help. And And I was hoping they could save Lufkin, so that way I could have some time to help keep Jefferson up and running. I just am not sure if they're gonna follow through with it, and so I hope that they do, but I also hope that they truly do help our community as a whole. It is amazing what our park staff was able to do to keep Lufkin Pool moving and alive, defying the experts. Just when we thought some expert would come in and say, there's no way that this could be saved. Our park staff was able to problem solve and find a solution, and so we were able to extend the life. My heart tells me, please save Lufkin, okay? That's what my heart says, because I appreciate, as a swim coach, the patrons that come over to Jefferson are very kind and understanding and allow me to have my program. I am very concerned about my swimmers and about my program if we do only have one facility, but my head tells me, based on what I've been able to research, is that it's better to be fiscally responsible and look into planning for the future. The park district friction, we do not have a park district right now. We are a recreation department. And I know when I have gone to work for other park districts, or as I'm interacting with other park districts, there's a friction between the park district and the village staff. Who's supposed to maintain what? Who has what? One of the things that I do love about Villa Park is that I feel like you try to do their best to pull all the different departments together and do the best job that they can for the residents of our community. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any more? Okay. The board and Manager Keener and we have one more.
Sorry. I'm sure all of you have been hearing mine and my husband's names for the past.
Please state your name.
My name is Lisa Marazzo. My husband Sam. We have a daughter who will be 1 on Wednesday, and we have 1 on the way. Our brand new home at 590 East Harrison in Villa Park has passed all internal inspections the first week of January. We have not been issued a temporary occupancy permit or a final occupancy permit to live in our home. After inquiring, we were informed that our builder's permit was issued with a handwritten label naming it conditional. If you look at the typed document that was sent to our builder and our architect, it states that we cannot obtain an occupancy permit, temporary or final, until the grading has been done on all of our land. Obviously, it's January and no grading can be done right now. Together, our architect and our builder, Bob and Dean, have designed, graded, and built hundreds of homes. Usually they submit one grading plan and it is approved, or they get it rejected to them with minor issues noted, and the second plan is resubmitted and final permits are granted. To date, Bob and Dean have submitted 12 grading plans, all rejected. Some of the suggestions of putting 2 to 4 foot retaining ponds in my front yard and my next door neighbor's front yard. As you can imagine, this was rejected by my builder. We are aware that our neighbor in the existing house at 58 East Harrison has experienced routine flooding in their crawl space. They have approached the village numerous times, understandably, and have expressed great concern that the addition of my new house and my brother-in-law's new house do not add to their current flooding. My husband and I fully understand their concern, as we do not want our new homes to affect or flood their homes anymore. Every suggestion Bob and Dean have made would improve their flooding and the stormwater runoff to their home, my home, and all my neighbors' homes. Please do not misunderstand me. We would like the grading to positively impact our home and their home. Fortunately for us, because of the issues between Villa Park and my builder, we are unable to occupy our home. And all 3.5 of us are currently living in my parents' house in Downers Grove. Our daughter continues to go to a wonderful daycare in Villa Park, which we love. We love Villa Park. That's why we wanted this to be our forever home and our forever town. Instead of moving into our forever home and being one of the best days of our lives, it has turned into a nightmare. Our first taste of living in Villa Park has turned sour. Now we need lawyers, senators, formal letters, meetings, and a very nervous speaker in a town meeting. We understand that the land has to be graded to mutually benefit our neighbors and ourselves.
What we don't understand is why we cannot live in our own home while Villa Park and United Home Builders work this out. What we don't understand is why we are pawns in this issue. What we don't understand is why nobody can help us or will help us. This is our home. This is our community. This is where we want to raise our growing family with my children's cousins next door. We only want to live in our home. What you may not know is United Home Builders is not the owner of this property. My husband Sam and I closed on the land and the home in May of 2017. We are not waiting for an occupancy permit to close on our forever home. We are waiting on an occupancy permit to live in our forever home. We are not the future owners of 590 East Harrison. We are currently the tax-paying owners of 590 East Harrison living in Downers Grove. Please help us.
Probably done better outside of public meeting.
We appreciate your comments on that. You know, this has been an ongoing situation for a while, and discussions with the attorneys and community development and the village manager and people on the board here. So we'll continue to address that and hopefully get you in there soon. It's something we'll have to address outside of the meeting. We'd like to thank everyone that was here. That was comments on Lufkin, though. You know, that was a huge issue, and I know Manager Keener is taking copious notes here, and staff will review everyone's comments and hopefully get back to everyone. A mutually beneficial situation here. Okay. Since we're done, we'll go on to our next item, Village Clerk's report.
I have no report tonight,
No report.
thank you.
Okay. Village Trustees report. Start with Trustee Aiello.
No report.
No report. Trustee Tucker.
No report tonight.
No report. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you. Just a few comments. I just want to applaud the residents that came out at this meeting and last meeting. Very impressive the way you've organized your thoughts and presented them in a respectful manner for the most part. Especially last meeting. I know it's very difficult to come out with your kids on a school night, so I applaud your efforts here to bring this information to us, and we'll see what happens. Just a couple things I want to report on. I attended the DuPage Mayors and Managers legislative meeting with Manager Keener, and he may have something to say about that. But just wanted to convey my thoughts about it. There are lots of threats out there to municipal government. The local distributive fund, local government distributive fund is still something that's the state is looking at, you know, taking away from us or decreasing. So there's always threats to our revenue. And the one thing that I was impressed at the meeting was the kind of bipartisan tenor that was taken by all the representatives that were there. There was very little partisan rhetoric. And most of the people that we send to Springfield have experience in local government, so they understand the problems that we have. And I was just very impressed with that. It was a great opportunity for me to go, and I appreciate that. And lastly, I just want to send congratulations out to the Destination Imagination team from District 45. On Saturday, they had an event at the skating rink in Lombard, and they raised money for the Annie Laguerre Foundation. She is a young woman who passed away due to a food allergy, and I was really impressed with all the families and kids that came out to raise money for that foundation. So I just wanted to say thanks for that effort. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Wagner. Trustee Salella?
No report this evening.
Trustee Case?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. I don't have anything except I'd like to thank everyone that came out and gave comments on Lufkin. We'll definitely be discussing this down the road. Thank you. Village President's report. We have no president tonight, so Village Manager.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to expound a little bit on Trustee Wagner's update on the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference business meeting. Yes, there was, we went over the legislative action plan designed and approved by DuPage Mayors and Managers, COG. It has a number of items that are near and dear to all of us, such as pension reform, workers' comp reform, maintaining local control, things of that nature. If you're interested on that or about those topics, they can be found on the DuPage Mayors and Managers site and ours. Additionally, several mayors from the surrounding area that are active in the DuPage Mayors and Managers COG also recorded a video entitled Issues at Hand, which discusses at some length what would happen if the property tax freeze was approved by the legislators. And then also during that meeting, the legislators were in attendance, and many spoke about the vacancies going to occur because of some of those folks not seeking office again, and about the upcoming election. Some things may not get accomplished, but basically to hang in there and keep moving forward, things of that nature. That's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brings us to adjournment. We have a motion.
Motion.
Trustee Case, and we have a second. Trustee Ayala. We have a vote.
Roll call?
Roll call.
Yes, trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Solella?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Well, that closes our meeting. Our next meeting of the village board will be Monday, February 12th, which is President's Day, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming.